All right, welcome to another deep dive.
Hey everyone.
I was thinking about this the other day, and I bet a lot of you out there are probably tired of those stuffy, boring offices, right?
Yeah, I think it's safe to say we all crave a little something more inspiring, right?
Exactly. I mean, who wouldn't want to work in a place that actually makes them happy to be there?
Definitely.
So today, we're going to dive into this super cool article from 9 to 5 magazine.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
They're showcasing 10 amazing office spaces here in Copenhagen that are all about bringing the outdoors in.
I love that idea.
Me too. And they're all located near these beautiful parks and green areas. So think like lunchtime strolls and fresh air breaks.
That's awesome. And there's actually a lot of research out there that shows how being around nature can really benefit us, like,
Hmm.
boost our creativity, help us focus better.
Really?
Yeah. It could even reduce stress levels.
Wow, I had no idea.
It's pretty amazing. More and more companies are starting to realize this, which is great. I think it's wonderful that they're prioritizing employee well-being.
Absolutely. So this isn't just about having a pretty view from your office window. It's about like actually improving your workday and how you feel, right?
Totally.
The article even mentions this concept of a lunch walk. They say that even a quick walk in the park can do wonders for like clearing your head and just getting your blood pumping.
Oh, for sure.
And they quoted some experts in there saying stuff like a half-hour brisk walk can contribute to a healthier heart, and that spending time in nature has this restorative effect on your brain, which I think is super interesting.
Oh, yeah, it makes total sense, right? I mean, our brains aren't designed to be glued to a screen all day long.
I know. Tell me about it.
Nature gives us that much-needed break from all that constant stimulation. It helps us kind of tap into a different energy.
You mean like a more relaxed, focused kind of energy?
Exactly. And that's a huge part of where that creativity boost comes in.
So the article's saying that just by being in nature, we can actually become more creative.
That's right. When we're relaxed, when we're surrounded by, like, trees and fresh air, our brains can actually wander more freely. And that's when we start to make those new connections and come up with new ideas.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. It's like our brains are going on a mini vacation.
I love that. All right, so we've talked about the benefits of being around nature, but what about these actual office spaces in Copenhagen? What are some that like really jumped out at you?
Oh, there were a few that really caught my eye, for sure.
Okay, awesome. I have a few picked out too.
Okay, let's hear it. Which one are you thinking of first?
Okay, so first up is Esther Alley 48. Now imagine this. You're working in one of the Parken Stadium's office towers.
Wait, really?
Yes, and you have these incredible views of failed Parken, which is this massive park right in the city.
Wow.
I know, right? And get this, they have a huge communal terrace.
No way.
Yeah. So I can totally see myself out there enjoying a coffee break, soaking up the sun.
Oh, I'm already picturing it.
Yeah.
Field Parkin is more than just a green space. It's a central hub for the community.
That's so cool.
Yeah, people come together there to, exercise, socialize, attend events all year round.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a really vibrant spot.
Okay, so that's one.
Okay, what's next?
Get ready for this one. It's Bernstorff Slot.
Bernstorff slot.
You ready? It's literally an office in a castle.
Wait, in a castle? Are you serious?
I'm totally serious.
That is amazing.
With access to Bernstorff Sparken. And it has a reception hall, a restaurant, meeting rooms. Like, can you imagine having a meeting in a castle?
Oh, that's incredible. Talk about making a statement, right? I've actually been to Bernstorff Sparken.
Really?
Yeah. It's designed in this beautiful, romantic English style with rolling lawns and these serene lakes and wooded areas. It's just absolutely stunning.
Oh, wow. I need to check it out.
Yeah, you definitely should. But while we're getting excited about these amazing spaces, we should probably think about the practical side of things too, right?
Right, of course.
So the article mentioned that Bernstorff Slot has individual offices for rent,
Oh, okay.
which might be a perfect setup for smaller companies or like freelancers who are looking for their own dedicated space.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But maybe not ideal if you have a large team that needs a more collaborative, open environment.
That's a really good point. Okay, so we've got the modern office tower with amazing park views. We've got the office in a historic castle.
What else is on your list?
Okay, this next one is called Skadsberg Strandvej 127.
Skadsberg Strandved 127.
Skadsberg Strandvej 127.
Okay. And this one is located in Kur Hotel Skadsborg.
Wait, a hotel?
Yeah.
Picture this. Views of the Øresund.
No way.
Yes.
Yeah.
right from your office window.
The strait that separates Denmark from Sweden.
The one and only.
Wow.
And it's also close to Jägersburg Dyrehave, which is like this massive forest.
Ooh, perfect for those lunch walks.
Exactly.
That sounds amazing. I love that they specifically mentioned this place being suitable for both therapy and office use.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it speaks volumes about the kind of calming, restorative atmosphere they've created there.
It's like they've considered the whole person, not just the employee, you know?
Totally. And the fact that it's near Jägersburg Dyrehave is a huge bonus. I mean, that forest has herds of wild deer roaming around, ancient oak trees. It's like stepping back in time.
It sounds magical.
It truly is. You know, it's amazing how Copenhagen has managed to weave so many green spaces into the fabric of the city.
It really is. I mean, the article also mentions a bunch of other office spaces that aren't directly located in a park, but are still, like, really close to green areas.
Oh, like which ones?
Okay, so there's Nærvoldgade 16.
Okay, Nærvoldgade.
And that one overlooks Ørstedsparken right in the heart of Copenhagen's Latin Quarter.
Oh, I love that area.
Me too. It's such a great spot.
That's a fantastic location for anyone who wants to be, you know, in the middle of all the action, but still have access to a peaceful escape when they need it.
Exactly.
And Ørstedsparken is such a classic Copenhagen park, perfect for a quick stroll or even a picnic lunch. And it's surrounded by all these historical buildings and cultural institutions, so there's always something interesting to see.
And then there's Jägersborg Alle 4.
Jägersborg Alle, okay.
It's in Charlottenlund, which is a really beautiful suburb just north of Copenhagen.
Oh, I've heard great things about Charlottenlund.
And it has these views of Charlottenlund Slotshave, which is a park that used to be part of a royal estate.
Wow. From royal estates to bustling city parks, it seems like Copenhagen really does have a green space for everyone.
I know, right? And we can't forget Groningen 19.
Groningen, okay, what's special about that one?
It has rooftop terraces overlooking Kastellet.
Hold on, you had me at rooftop terraces.
I know.
And overlooking Kastellet, which is a star-shaped fortress. That's amazing.
The views must be breathtaking.
I bet.
Okay, so we've definitely got a lot of options here. What are some things we should be thinking about when choosing a green office space?
Well, besides the obvious stuff like location and size.
Rent. I mean, that's got to be a big factor, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially in a city like Copenhagen.
And the article actually mentioned prices for some of these places, and there was a pretty big range.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Somewhere around 1,300 kroner per square meter per year.
Oh, okay.
But then others were like way higher, upwards of 2,600.
Wow, yeah, that's a significant difference.
Yeah.
It just shows you really have to think about your budget.
For sure.
How big your company is, right?
Exactly.
Some of those pricier options like, you know, Bernstorff Slot or that hotel, Skodsborg Strandväg,
Yeah.
they offer some unique features.
Yeah.
And I guess a certain prestige comes with that.
Right, for sure.
But if you're a startup or a smaller company, that might not be the best fit.
Totally. It's all about finding that balance, right? What you need versus what you can actually afford.
Exactly.
And I guess rent's not the only cost you have to think about.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
Transport links are super important.
Oh, good point.
You know, how easy is it for people to get to the office?
You're right.
Is it close to public transportation?
Yeah.
Are there enough parking spaces if people drive?
Yeah, that's all important stuff.
And then you can't forget about amenities either.
Ooh, good one.
You know, does the building have a canteen, a gym, maybe other things that can, like, make your employees' lives easier?
Yeah. Or just more enjoyable.
Exactly.
Make them want to come to work.
Exactly.
I'm also thinking about the kind of work culture a company wants to create.
Yeah, that's crucial.
Because, like, some of those spaces, like the castles or hotels, they have a more formal vibe.
Right.
But then others, like the ones with the communal terraces or, you know, open plan layouts, those feel more relaxed
Yeah.
and collaborative.
You're absolutely right. The physical space can really influence how people interact and work together.
It's true.
So it's important to pick a place that matches your company's values
Totally.
and the kind of atmosphere you want to create.
Okay, so we've got rent, location, amenities, work culture. What else should we keep in mind when we're talking about green office spaces?
Natural light.
Oh, yes. The article talked about that.
Yeah, they mentioned spaces with, like, panoramic windows and lots of light.
It sounds dreamy. But, I mean, isn't natural light just about having a nice view?
It's definitely a plus.
Yeah.
But there's actually more to it than that. Natural light can impact your well-being.
Really? In what way?
Well, studies show that exposure to natural light can improve your mood.
Interesting.
It can help you sleep better.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And it can even boost your productivity.
I'm sold.
So when you're checking out potential office spaces, definitely pay attention to how much natural light there is
Okay.
and how it flows through the space.
That's a good tip. I never realized how much of an impact it could have.
It's pretty remarkable. And while we're on the topic of bringing the outdoors in, we can't forget about the power of plants.
Oh, yes. Plants.
Even if your office isn't right next to a park,
Yeah.
you can create that connection to nature
Yeah.
just by adding some plants to your workspace.
I love plants in an office.
Yeah, it just makes the space feel more, alive and vibrant.
Right.
Plus, they can improve air quality, reduce stress, and just make the whole atmosphere more inviting.
So many benefits.
There's actually a term for this biophilic design.
Biophilic design. What is that?
Basically, it's the idea of incorporating elements of nature into the built environment.
Oh, okay.
So it's not just about adding a couple of plants here and there.
Right.
It's about designing spaces that are inherently connected to nature.
I see.
Things like using natural materials,
Okay.
creating views of nature, and even mimicking natural patterns and shapes.
So you're saying we can kind of trick our brains into feeling like we're outdoors, even if we're stuck inside?
Exactly.
That's amazing.
It's a really cool concept. And it's becoming more and more popular as companies realize the benefits, for their employees' well-being and their productivity.
Okay, so let's recap for a second.
Sure.
We've learned that green office spaces, they're not just a nice perk. They can actually have a real impact on how we feel,
Absolutely.
how we think, and how well we work.
It's all connected.
And when we're choosing an office space, we need to consider the rent, the location, transport links, amenities, the overall vibe.
Right.
And then we also need to pay attention to natural light, bring in some plants, and maybe even consider some of these biophilic design elements. It seems like a lot.
It can feel a bit overwhelming,
Right.
but the most important thing is to figure out what's most important to you
Yeah,
and to your company.
I agree.
What kind of work environment do you want to create? What are your must-haves?
Those are good questions.
Once you have a clear picture in your mind, it'll be much easier to narrow down your options.
I think this deep dive has given us a really great starting point.
Me too.
We've explored the benefits, looked at some real examples in Copenhagen, and discussed all the key things to consider.
Exactly. And ultimately, the goal is to find a space that inspires you,
Yes.
energizes you, and supports your well-being.
I love that. I couldn't have said it better myself. It's more than just, going to work. It's about creating a space where you can actually thrive. I think our expert has a question for all of you out there to ponder.
Yeah, so as you're on this journey to find that perfect green office space here in Copenhagen, I want you to think about this. What kind of green space would actually be the most inspiring for you? What would make you more productive?
That's a really good question. Is it something like, one of those bustling parks with tons of activity like we talked about with Field Parkin? Or is it more of a, quiet forest with those peaceful paths like Jägersburg Diary have?
Yeah, or maybe it's a rooftop garden, with amazing city views.
Oh, that's a good one.
Or even just a little cozy courtyard with a calming water feature. It's really interesting how different people are drawn to different types of nature.
Yeah, it is.
Some people get energy from being around lots of activity, but then others really need peace and quiet
It's true.
to do their best work. And there's no right or wrong answer.
Exactly.
It's all about what works for you.
It's about finding what resonates with you.
Right.
So as you're looking at those different options out there, just, really think about what feels right.
Yeah, what feels good to you?
What feels right for your team. And don't worry, we'll include links to all of those properties from the 9 out of 5 article in the show notes, so you can check them out.
Definitely. And don't be afraid to let your imagination run wild a little bit.
Yeah.
Picture yourself working in these amazing spaces, taking those lunch walks, soaking up all that natural beauty.
Yes. Embrace that power of nature and see how it can totally transform your work life.
Who knows? You might find your dream office waiting for you right here in Copenhagen.
Maybe. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into green office spaces.
It was great being here.
And until next time, stay curious.
Oh.